You know, maybe the perfect fragrance does exist after all. You just got to know where to look and what to look for. And that's going to be one of the most highly subjective things. And that really is going to boil down to what you're trying to achieve and what your taste is. So I have found them for me, but these aren't going to be everybody's favorite or everybody's perfect scent. I can only share what works well for me and what I like. And then if your taste is similar to mine, that gives you some great ideas to go jump into and try. I think all of these are worth trying at some point, whether you just do it a little bit at a time or you go out there and sample them all at once or blind buy them all at once or however you roll. You're never going to get away from these, so it's worth giving them a try. Some of these are a bit newer, but most of these are on the older side of things as well, a little bit. There's just kind of a nice fresh balance of a wide variety of different things here. And also, there could be so much more to put into this video, right? But I'm going to limit it to 8. We're going to try to keep it pretty easy to digest. And trust me, this is the type of video that I would go back and forth on. These are in here right now, but if I were to make this video in a month or two, there would be a different rotation because a lot of it's going to be seasonal as well. These are kind of what I'm wearing right now or what I'm going to be wearing here in the very near future as the weather is shifting towards the cooler side of things. So I will drop links to all these down below so you can pick up bottles. You can also pick up samples or decants over on our website, decantcenter.com, if you want to try before you buy. The first one is Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Extreme. What a fantastic scent. Plum, almond, tobacco, a very unique and exquisite blend. I mean, there's just not a whole lot out there that does the same thing that this one does with the same level of class and sophistication at a relatively low price. Now, I should say that this is not a cheapie, you know, but low price is really shifting these days because of the growing cost of things at retail. So on discounters, you're looking at anywhere from $90 to $100. Yes, not cheap, but it's also not as bad as it could be. But the other thing that I'm kind of saying here is this can go up against some really, really expensive top tier designers and niche because it's technically niche, but it can compete with those, right? This comes in at a lower cost than a lot of the top dogs that people talk about all the time. I think it's comparable to a lot of things in terms of quality, uniqueness, and even performance. I mean, this just packs a big punch for a fair price. It's not a cheapie. It's not really mid-range. You know, it costs you a little bit, but at the same time, you're getting a lot in return. So, you know, this is something that I think is worth checking out, especially if you're striving for something different and kind of off the beaten path, so to speak, because in the community, it's relatively popular. You hear about it a good amount, but outside of the fragrance community, it's not going to be anywhere near as popular, which is something that's a lot of people are striving for. I'm a big fan of tobacco scents, and you'll kind of see that in the video here. But I'm also a fan of just overall the way a scent makes me feel when it can make me feel different than how other scents do. You know, like Nautica Voyage. I love that stuff. It's clean and fresh, but it doesn't give me the same type of feeling as something like this does. This just has an expensive feel to it that just makes me feel high-end when I smell it and wear it. Next up, we're going to go with Armani Code Eau de Parfum. This is the 2024, so that's very important because this is the reintroduction of Armani Code Profumo. Very popular, very sought-after scent these days. And that one essentially consists of a whole bunch of tonka bean. That's kind of the vast majority of what it is. And it kind of has a root beer, fizzy, soda, cola smell to it with a lot of tonka, a lot of sweetness, quite a bit of amber as well. Armani Code Profumo really needs no introduction. But then they discontinued it and they brought it back in this Eau de Parfum, which is a little bit weird. You know, I wish they wouldn't have downgraded the concentration, but it is what it is. I'm just glad to have it back. And so that's something to keep in mind. You know, you're not looking for the old Armani Code EDP in the old style bottle. You're looking for this, the new refillable style. Is it exactly the same as Code Profumo? Not quite. There are some minor differences, and it's not quite as strong, but it's still very close, and it's about as good as we're going to get right now. And I've said this before, but it always leaves me wondering, are they going to rework Armani Code Parfum into what Armani Code Absolu used to be? Because it's just kind of weird that they're kind of swapping things out. I would be okay with that. I love Armani Code Parfum as it stands, but I like Armani Code Absolute better. I think that would be pretty cool to see. Next up, we're gonna go with Dior Fahrenheit Le Parfum. And so what I love so much about this is it's just a nice, sweet, boozy, leathery take on the original. So it still does maintain some of that violet leaf freshness that the original has, which is what makes it stand out. But then you're getting some rum, some suede, and just overall some warmer, sweeter, heavier notes, making this one fantastic for the cooler times of the year, where Fahrenheit is more or less kind of like a spring, early summer, or just a general all year rounder. You know, I think something like Fahrenheit Le Parfum is going to be more suited for the cooler times of the year. It has the performance to back it up, and it just has more of an evening out, kind of seductive nighttime feel to it. And I also personally think that this is 10 times more interesting than the original Fahrenheit. There's nothing wrong with the original Fahrenheit, but I do think this is one of those instances where the flanker has made a vast improvement over the original. You know, this is also going to cost you a bit of money. It's only a 75 ml. That's the standard only size it comes in, but it is a pure parfum, so you're getting good concentration there. And it's, you know, $115 or so. Pricey, but well worth it. Now this next one is incredible. It was a huge surprise for me because I went into it essentially kind of expecting to throw my money away because the retail price is insane. It's $175 at retail. That's a lot of money, especially from this brand, which hasn't really made a big name for themselves in the fragrance community yet. And so that's, you know, pretty big ask. But the bottle and mostly the note breakdown had me very interested. And so I went for it, and I'm so glad I did. It's Tumi 19 Degree, also coming in at an extrait concentration, which was another thing that kind of pushed me in that direction. That is by far my favorite concentration. I just love how parfums work on my skin. And so all of that to say, I went for it, kind of expecting to be let down, but I was actually really, really surprised in a great way. It's a raspberry scent, and that's what was really keying me in on this. I'm like, you know, I love that note. You know, it's something that's not used all that often. It smells great when it's something you can actually pick up on, and you get it here. Raspberry, kind of leather, suede, some woods. It is really, really good. So it's a nice creamy sandalwood, nice fruity, sweet raspberry. It's a nice leathery note with a bit of a white floral kind of bright pop off the opening, but that does go away pretty quickly. It just smells great. Up in the air, amazing. This is the type of thing that hangs in the air for a really long time, so I just did that spray there. I'm going to be able to perceive that for a while. It really sticks around, and that's, again, what I like so much about parfums. It just has a really nice kind of slight bubbly, fizzy creaminess to it as well when you're smelling it up in the air. You don't pick up on it as much just smelling it like that, but really, you know, make sure you atomize this one, which obviously you would when you're testing it. You know, make sure you give it a good spray. Don't just walk into a store and do this, because you're not going to get the full effect. You got to get this one opened up in the air. Do a spray on your skin. Just do a spray up in the air too, and really try to catch the trail end of it, or the tail end of it, and you'll see the magic behind this one. Tumi has a lot of really good fragrances. This is by far one of their most expensive ones, but if you can get this one for under retail price, it is a really good release. I could see this one really doing well if they could get the price down, which I know at retail they're not going to lower that, but I'm talking if this one can get in stock on discounters at a consistent basis for under $100, I could see it being a really good release. So we will go into something more affordable here. This is just one of the best fall fragrances that I can ever think of. It's Rochas Moustache Eau de Parfum. This is perfection to me. This type of smell, the pink pepper, the vanilla, the benzoin, and in some instance a little bit of patchouli here, but not as much in YSL Tuxedo. All of that going together just create something that smells like fall. And even the bottle, or more or less the liquid inside, it has that brown tint to it. It looks like the same color that fall leaves are, right? And you've got the red on the front. Just everything about it looks like fall. Everything about it smells like autumn. It's just, that's what it is for me. And I really don't ever wear it in wintertime either, just because it kind of doesn't really make me feel as good. I just like this one when it's cold outside, but not too cold. Just nice hoodie weather with the leaves falling and some wind a little bit. And it's just, you know, the beginnings of fall when it's nice before it just goes to where everything's dead and ugly. I also think it's very unique. So like I mentioned, I talked about Tuxedo because this is close. The main difference though is that this one does focus a lot more on the vanilla and the benzoin, whereas Tuxedo focuses more on the patchouli. Now they both do share spices off the top, but vanilla focus here, and you pick up on it a lot. Nice, smooth, silky, creamy vanilla and a little bit of a powdery benzoin and tonka bean combination. It smells incredible. This stuff is amazing. And one of the best things about it is the price. You're looking at anywhere from $40 to $50 for a full 125 ml bottle. And also testers do come with a cap. This is a tester right here. I had to buy another bottle and came with a cap. Okay, we're gonna jump over to a niche fragrance up next. We have Parfums de Marly Layton. So this is kind of the entry-level PDM, you know, it's by far the most popular. I mean, this is just the Creed Aventus of PDM, right? And it's also kind of become the Creed Aventus of just niche in terms of like, Aventus is, you know, one of the most popular niche fragrances. It's even become one of the most popular men's fragrances in general, even at the insane price tag that it's at. But this is kind of up next, you know, this has just gotten really popular. It's been cloned a million times, and it's just what people are interested in now. Aventus is old. I mean, think about it. In the grand scheme of things, it's old. 2010, right? We're going on 15 years old, and so much has changed in this time frame. And this is more new style, okay? This is just sweet, fruity, warm and spicy, and sweet primarily. Just double down on that. That's what Layton is. And this is just the new style of men's fragrance. Love it or hate it. We're getting away from the woody kind of fougere type of scents and just getting into a whole different animal. And of course, Layton is very expensive, but you can get one of the many clones, Alharmain Detour Noir, Amber Oud Exclusive Blue, to name a couple. And if you want to try Layton, like the real deal, you can buy a sample at our website. It'll be linked down below. And we're going to go over to a summer scent up next because summer's still been hanging on. It was absolutely scorching today, like 87 degrees and sunny. And that would not be the day for Layton, you know, or anything like that. So that would be more of a day for Acqua di Gio Profondo 2024 in this case. So yes, first things first, I love the bottle. I do think I like the bottle better than the old. It's got a gradient, but instead of like a color shift gradient, it is frosted to not frosted. See that? So you can feel the texture up here, no texture down here, smooth glass texture. I like that a lot. It looks cool. Kind of gives it a frosted glass look, which is very fitting for the smell. It's a very bright, oceanic, summery, uplifting, and effervescent, sparkling scent. And it just embodies that from opening to dry down. It's just everything about this is uplifting and easygoing and happy smelling. It's got the mineral notes. It's got the orange off the top. This actually is a little bit different than the original Profondo 2020 release, mainly being, at least the way I perceive it, is the opening is a bit brighter. That's essentially it. And it's not that the opening of the old one was dark or heavy or sweet or anything like that, but I'm just getting a little bit more of a bright pop off the opening. But then as you work into the dry down, they kind of more or less become the same thing. Which one should you buy? Personally, I think whichever one you can get for a better deal. So this is a 100 ml. The new ones are going to be 100 ml. The old ones are going to come in the 120, 4.2, okay? So that's how you're going to be able to tell them apart if the pictures are not correct. So again, yeah, whichever one you can get for a better price on discounters is the one I would go for. Last up for this video, we have Dolce Gabbana The One Eau de Parfum. I truly do think this is the perfect fragrance. I really do. If I had to, you know, well, I would never choose one, but if I were to choose one, this would be one that I choose. There would be a rotation. So I would have a group of like 8 or 10 like this. And then, you know, for that day, this would be the perfect scent because there always is going to be the next day that comes around where then I'm wearing a Aventus or then I'm wearing something like, you know, Elysium or Spice Bomb Extreme where I think those are perfect too, right? You can't give out the perfect tag to everything, but there are quite a few that has it. And, you know, it still doesn't scratch the surface in terms of how many I have in my collection. But I do think that they absolutely could not have done anything better with this. And that's what it comes down to. Could they have done anything better? I don't think so. The main argument's going to be performance. I don't know. I'm not a perfumer. I can't say for sure that there was a way that they could have increased the performance without altering the scent in a negative way. I would think if they could have done that, they would have, because why wouldn't you want it to last for 24 hours and sell more, right? So I don't know, but regardless, I do think it's amazing. It's one of the best designer tobacco scents out there with amber to go along with it. What a beauty, what a work of art. These days, it's, you know, $75 to $80 on discounters. Fair, not what it used to be, which was $50 all day long, but that's just how everything is. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Perfection does exist with these fragrances here. For me, it's going to be different for you. So I want to hear from you down below. What are some perfect fragrances that are in your collection? Like I mentioned, I've got all these linked down below if you want to purchase full bottles, but you can also purchase samples of most of these over on our website, decantcenter.com. We're adding new arrivals, new stock pretty much every day. And so you can kind of do some shopping around, try before you buy, especially with what the prices are doing on new releases and even existing releases on discounters. Everything's going up. It's going to be an easy way to find your next signature scent. We've got free shipping over $49, a free sample with every order, super easy, seamless shopping experience from browsing to adding to cart to checking out. We make it easy and pain-free. And like I said, keep checking back every day because we're always adding new stuff. New releases, we're getting caught up on older pre-existing stuff as well. So yeah, make sure you go check us out. And if you feel like it, you can even send me an email and say, hey, I want to see this in stock. Because, you know, there's so much to catch up on that I don't know what people want. So if you're watching all the way to the end, find my email. Go send me a message. Say, hey, I want to sample this. And I'll get it up on the website for you as soon as I can. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.